Good morning, classmates, especially to our professor, Dr. Nova Silgira. I am Jennifer Gonzalez. I am your discussant for today. My topic is all about fiscal management, grants, subsidies, donations. It focuses on the budget. To be specific, is this year's DepEd budget 2021. Before we start, let's have defined first some terminologies that we may encounter on the latter part of our discussion. Basic Education Learning Continuity Plan or BELCP. Ito ay isang gabay na nagbibigay ng patnubay at direksyon kung paano maghatid ng pangunahing edukasyon sa mga mag-aaral ng Pilipino sa panahon ng krisis tulad nito, COVID-19. So, ang balangkas na nakatuon sa mag-aaral ay ginagabayan ng panghabang buhay, buong buhay, malalim at matalinong mga prinsipyo sa pagkatuto na dahilan o dadalhin ng mga mag-aaral lampas sa kanilang mga taon ng pag-aaral. Ang mga detalye ng pagpapatupad ay isasama sa naangkop ng mga lituntunin, tuntunin o direktiba at ipapatakbo sa pamagitan ng mga programa, proyekto at aktibidad. When we say budget, uh, the budget is the government's plan for a year. Ito rin yung talahanayan or tinatawag nating schedule ng mga paggasta at ito rin yung mga obligasyon or mga konsepto ng mga pera at yung mga kaukulang pinagmumula ng financing. So, alinman sa mula sa mga kita, paghiram o cash drawdown. Sa uli, ito ay isang kasangkapan na nagbibigay daan sa pamahalaan upang makamit ang kanyang agenda para doon sa tinatawag nating development. So, pag sinabi naman nating allotment, authorization issued by the Department of Budget and Management or what we call DBM to an agency permitting the agency to commit, incur obligation, and or pay out funds within a specified period of time within the amount specified through first, yung tinatawag natin na General Appropriations Act as an allotment order or yung GAAO or GAAO. So it is starting FY 2017 for a specific appropriation items deemed released upon effectivity of the GAA or yung GAA. So General Allotment Release Order which is yung GARO for the full year requirements for the automatically appropriated retirement and life insurance premium or yung RLIP contributions. And yung pangatlo, which is Special Allotment Release Order or yung SARO for budget items requiring compliance with certain conditionalities. Ito, yung number 3, familiar tayo dito when it comes to our PPP. So, ito yung isa sa mga binababa muna bago tayong magkaroon ng or ito yung mga kondisyon na dapat nating ma-achieve para magkaroon na tayo ng PBB. So, ito naman ay cash allowance, formerly known as chalk allowance, an allowance where every eligible classroom teacher will receive 5,000 for every school year. This allowance is for the purchase of teaching supplies and materials, internet subscription, and other communication expenses, and for annual medical examinations. So the increase of 1.5 is effective for this school year 2021. So, yan. So, nakuha na natin tong chalk allowance natin or yung cash allowance. Okay? So, dito naman tayo sa disbursement. refers to the settlement, liquidation, payment of an obligation incurred in the current or prior years, involving cash or non-cash transactions and covered by disbursement authorities. So, ayan. Next, Educational Service Contracting or ESC. Scheme, a program stipulated in Republic Act number 8454 or the expanded government assistance to students and teachers in private education or GATS-TPE. As a system of government financial assistance that provides grants for deserving elementary graduates to pursue secondary education in a private high school of their choice. So ESC also decongests public secondary schools by contracting the excess capacities of private high school through this subsidy for students who otherwise would have gone to public school. So, ito yung tinatawag natin na subsidy para doon sa mga estudyante na mag-high school. When we say expenditure program, the ceiling on the obligation that could be incurred, pwedeng maisakatuparan ng ating gobyerno sa isang particular budget or sa isang budget year. So the said ceiling is supported by estimated financial resources. So ito yung expenditure program. So dito naman tayo sa expense class. Classification siya ng paggasta. So under that is ito yung mga categories, yung personnel services natin para sa mga tauhan, maintenance and other operating expenses or tinatawag nating MOOE, at yung financial expenses natin yung PNEX, at yung capital outlay or yung CO. So, ito naman yung General Appropriations Act or yung GAA. It is the legislative authorization that contains the new appropriations authorized by Congress in terms of specific amounts for salaries, wages, and other personnel benefits. So, ito yung under that is yung MOE and capital outlay or yung CO. So, authorized to be spent for the implementation of programs. So, activities and projects. Okay, so yun yung budget na kung saan pwede nating gamitin para sa mga programa, aktibidad, at kung ano-ano pang mga project sa eskwelahan of all departments, bureaus, and office of government for a given year. So, ito, familiar tayo sa MOOE na tinatawag. So, next natin is yung Learning Action Cell or yung LAC. So, a group of teachers who engage in collaborative learning sessions to solve shared challenges identified and encountered in and within their school. It primarily functions as a professional learning community for teachers that helps them improve practice and learner achievement. So, yan yung tinatawag natin na Learning Action Cell. So, ito ay ginagawa natin, ang mga facilitator dito ay yung ating mga master teachers. So, ito naman ay mga ang personal services or yung PS. Ito yung mga serbisyo sa tauhan, sumasangguni sa kategorya ng paggasta or klase ng gastos para sa pagbabayad ng mga sweldo, sahod, at iba pang kompensasyon. So, halimbawa dito yung mga merit, salary increase, personal economic relief allowance, honoraria, and commutable allowances, etc. A permanent, temporary, contractual, and casual employees of the government. So, ito yung mga pinapasahod sa kanilang mga tao. So, retirement and life insurance premium or yung RLIP. So, ito naman yung tinatawag natin na ang bahagi na ito ay ang pambansang pamahalaan sa pagbabayad ng premium sa government service insurance system or yung tinatawag natin na GSIS. So, para ito sa life insurance at retirement benefit fund ng mga empleyado ng gobyerno. So, familiar tayo dito dahil lagi tayong binabawasan nito every sahuran. So, dito naman tayo sa Senior High School Voucher Program or VP. So, ito yung isang government education subsidy program na kalintulad ng ESC para sa mga public junior high school. So, ito naman yung mga, kung kanina ay elementary, pagka-graduate elementary, pwede siya sa junior high school. Inilalaan yun para sa mga junior high school. Ito naman, pag na-complete niya yung junior high school, pwede siya dito na maka-avail ng or mag-grant ng senior high school voucher sa mga non-DepEd school. So, kung siya ay galing ng public at gusto niya mag-aral sa private, so makakapag-avail siya or entitled siya maka-receive ng full value voucher. So, ESC grantees are also automatically eligible to receive 80% of the voucher value. So, junior high school completers from non-DepEd schools may apply for the senior high school voucher program at 80% voucher value. So, the voucher amounts depends on the location of the non-DepEd senior high school. So, kung saan niya gustong mag-aral, nakadepende yung voucher na ibibigay. So, next natin is Special Hardship Allowance. Additional compensation to teachers assigned to multi-grade classes, mobile teachers, and ALS coordinators. So, ito rin yung mga hardship allowance. Halimbawa, ito ay, ang teacher ay tumatawid pa ng ilog. Kasi at least yung kanilang mga trabaho or at least yung trabaho ng teachers na yun. So, ito yung binibigay, Special Hardship Allowance. So, National Expenditure Program or yung NEP. Ito yung mga budget proposal na sinasubmit by the President of Congress for review and deliberation of the proposed national budget. So, ito naman yung mga proposed national budget ng bawat ahensya na kung saan sila yung nagdi-deliberate or nagre-review kung kailangan bang babaan or kailangan taasan yung ating proposed budget or yung ating budget for the fiscal year. So, it serves as the basis of the General Appropriation Bills or yung GAB, which becomes the General Appropriations Act or GAA upon enactment. So, yung next matatakal natin kung ano-ano ba yung mga tinaasan na budget or ano ba yung proposed national budget natin ng DepEd at ano yung mga binawasan. Okay. So, next natin is yung tinatawag natin na MOOE or Maintenance and Other Operating Expenses. So, it refers to an expenditure category or category expense class for support to the operations of government agencies such as expenses for supplies and materials, transportation and travel, utilities, water, power, etc., and the repair, etc. So, yun yung MOE, kung ano yung kanyang, kung saan siya dapat na ginagastos. Okay, so learning materials, textbook, workbooks, teaching guides, instructional materials, modules, and other forms of printed publication used in classroom instruction and alternative education delivery modes. Next is non-DepEd senior high school, private high school, colleges, universities, local universities, and colleges or LUCs, state universities and colleges or SUCs, and private or technical, educational and skills development or what we call TESDA, Technical Vocational Training School, offering senior high school programs. So, ito yung sa non-DepEd senior high school natin. Kung mapapansin nyo, yung kaninang ESC, tsaka yung sa senior high school program, voucher, ito naman yung, kung ito yung mga pwedeng mga schools na mapuntahan ng mga public students. Ito yung preparation naman ng ating budget for the next fiscal year. So, ito yung unang-una, yung budget call. So, ang Department of Budget and Management or yung DBM natin ay nag-i-issue ng budget call upang simulan ang paghahanda ng budget para sa susunod na taon or yung tinatawag na fiscal year. Ang budget call ay nagtatakda ng mga parameter at pamamaraan upang gabayan ang mga ahensya. Pangalawa, ito naman yung pakikipag-ugnayan ng mamamayan bilang paghahanda ng mga panukalang budget ng ahensya or yung citizen engagement. So, ang mga kagawaran at ahensya ay nakikipag-ugnayan sa mga organisasyon ng lipunang sibil at iba pang stakeholder ng mamamayan sa pamamagitan ng mga kasunduan sa pagtutulungan ng budget upang matiyak na ang mga panukala sa budget ng mga ahensya ay nakahanay at kasama ang mga pangangailangan at prioridad sa pagpapaunlad ng mga rehiyon. Ang mga ahensya ay kumukonsulta sa mga rehiyon, Regional Development Council or yung RDCs, inihahanda ang kanilang mga iminungkahing budget or yung proposed budget. So, ito naman yung pangatlo para sa paghahanda ng budget for the next fiscal year. So, yung program convergence and budgeting. So, ang mga ahensyang may prioridad na programa ng pamahalaan ay nagpupulong upang pag-ugnayin at pagsama-samahin ang kanilang iminungkahing resulta ng budget. So, pang-apat, ito yung agency proposal. So, panukala ng mga ahensya pagkatapos ng karagdagang konsultasyon sa mga organisasyon ng civil society, RDC at iba pang ahensya, inihahanda ng bawat ahensya ang kanilang mga panukala para sa mga bagong programa at proyekto. O ito yung pagpapalawak ng mga umiiral na isinusumiti nila ang kanilang iminungkahing budget sa pamamagitan ng online submission ng budget document system. So, ito ay nagsasubmit sila ng mga proposed budget online. So, pang-5 natin Panglima ay presentation to the President and the Cabinet. So, ito naman yung ang DBM kasama ang Department of Finance or DOF at ang National Economic Development Authority or yung NEDA ay naghaharap ng panukalang budget sa Pangulo at sa Gabinete or sila yung nakikipag-meet doon sa ating Pangulo at sa mga Cabinet member para sa talakayan at pag-approve ng ating budget. So, pang-anim, ito yung consolidation, validation, and confirmation. So, ipapatunay ng DBM ang budget na inaprubahan ng Pangulo at ito ay isasama sa Budget of Expenditure and Sources of Financing or BESF na kung saan inihahanda ng DBM at pagkatapos ay isusumiti ito sa Kongreso. So, ang mga dokumento ng budget ay binubuo ng una. So, ito yung una ay the President Budget's Message, in which the policy framework and budget priorities are explained. 2. The BESF, which contains the macroeconomic assumptions, public sector context, breakdown, and expenditure and funding sources for the fiscal year and 2 previous year. And 3. The National Expenditure Program or yung NEP natin. Ito naman yung ating panghuling preparasyon para sa ating budget for the next fiscal year. So, the President's budget, as mandated in the 1987 Constitution, the President must submit the proposed budget to Congress within 30 days from the opening of the regular session of the Congress. So the President's working budget is also submitted after the State of the Nation address. So every SONA nila dapat na i-submit na itong mga proposed budget sa Kongreso. So ito ay within 30 days only upon opening of the regular session ng Congress. So, ito naman yung ating budget legislation. So, unang-una, ito yung House deliberation or deliberasyon ng kapulungan. So, ang Committee ng Appropriations ng House of Representative or HOR ay nagsasagawa or magsasagawa ng mga pampublikong pagdinig sa panukalang budget bill. Pagkatapos nito ay bubuuin ng HOR ang General Appropriations Bill or yung GAB, ang House of Representatives Appropriations Committee at Subcommittee ay mag-sponsor or magpapakita at magdedepensa sa GAB. Pagkatapos ng tatlong pagbasa, ang GAB ay naaprubahan at ipinadala sa Senado or ipapadala sa Senado. So, pangalawa nito, yung deliberasyon ng Senado habang isinasagawa yung HOR, ang pagdinig nito sa GAB. Sabay-sabay na sinisimulan ng Committee on Finance or Committee on Finance ng Senado ang pagdinig sa budget ng Pangulo bago formal na ipadala ng HOR ang GAB kapag naipadala na, isa sa ilalim ang GAB or sasailalim ang GAB sa mga deliberasyon ng Committee on Finance ng Senado at maaaring magbungkahi ng mga pagbabago sa GAB sa plenaryo ng Senado. So, ang version ng Senado ng GAB ay inaaprobahan din sa ikatlong pagbasa. So, sunod natin is yung number 3, bicameral deliberations. Ito yung pagkatapos aprubahan ng Kamara at ng Senado ang GAB, isang komite ng bicameral conference na binubuo ng mga panel mula sa parehong kapulungan. Ito ay nilikha upang pag-usapan at ihanay ang GAB. At yung pang-apat natin, ito yung pagpapatibay na at pagpapatala. Ang isang kanakaray na GAB ay sinumiti pabalik sa mga kapulungan. Ang naratipikahang GAB ay ipapatala o isusumiti sa Pangulo. Pagkatapos nito, yung tinatawag natin na pagsasabatas kapag ang GAB ay nilagdaan ng Pangulo. Ito ay magiging General Appropriations Act or GAA na. Bago ito, ang Pangulo ay maaaring magveto o magtakda ng mga kondisyon para sa pagpapatupad ng ilang mga item sa GAA na tinutukoy sa veto or veto message ng Pangulo na nagiging sangguniang dokumento para sa budget, expenditure, at yung particular na provision ng GAP. So, ito naman yung execution para doon sa mga binabang budget para sa bawat ahensya. Unang-una, early bidding for infrastructure before the new fiscal year starts. Agencies are required to prepare the annual procurement plans and their bid documents and are allowed to bid their projects before the GAA is enacted. So as soon as the GAA takes effect, agencies may immediately award their approved project. So next natin yung budget program. Departments and agencies are required to submit their budget execution documents or yung BED to outline their plans and performance targets for the year. So the DBM consolidates these plans into the budget program which breaks down the allotment and cash releases for each month of the year. So yung pangatlo natin, allotment release agencies are authorized to incur obligations through a DBM issued allotment. With the GAA's release document, the enacted budget itself serves as the allotment release for all budget items except those contained in a negative list. So next natin yung obligation. As agencies implement programs, activities, and projects, they incur liabilities and incur obligations with the supplier of goods and services that the national government will pay for these liabilities and obligation incurred. So, ito ay nagkakaroon sila ng pananagutan at obligasyon doon sa mga supplier ng produkto at serbisyo ng babayaran ng pambansang pamahalaan. So, next naman natin, number 5, cash allocation. The DBM issues disbursement authorities such as the notices of cash allocation or NCA to authorize agencies to settle their obligations. Next, yung disbursement natin, the National Treasury settles obligations incurred by the government through cashless and checkless disbursement scheme. So, ito naman yung ating next ay budget accountability. So, nagkakaroon din tayo ng tinatawag natin na performance targets. So, the GAA contains the target outcomes, output, and performance indicator of the agency with the performance-informed budget. These targets serves as the measurement of the agency's budget accountability. Next, number 2, accountability reports. So, as required by the DBM and the Commission on Audit, COA, agencies submit financial accountability reports every month or every quarter. Then, the financial accountability report contains the breakdown of the agency's accomplishment in relation to their spending. Pangatlo, public disclosures to empower citizens, agencies disclose the budget, reports, and other relevant information through the transparency seal. These data, as mandated by the law, are available on each agency's respective website. So, katulad na itong pinagkuwaan natin na website. So, meron sila netong accountability report or yung ating public disclosure para malaman ng tao, ng ating mga netizen or citizens na meron tayong transparency. So, next natin, after ng budget accountability, so under pa rin siya ng budget accountability, performance review. The DBM Technical Bureau regularly monitors and evaluates the financial and physical performance of agencies, so against their targets. So account management teams are assigned to critical agencies to closely monitor project implementation and address bottlenecks. Then, we have also yung mid-year and year-end reports. So, ito naman yung the Development Budget Coordination Committee or DBCC publishes comprehensive reports on macroeconomic developments, the fiscal situation of the national government, and the performance of key programs and projects. So, the mid-year report also discusses any adjustments that the DBCC makes to the government economic projections and fiscal targets for the rest of the year. So, ito rin ang year-end report ay nagbibigay din ng higit na pang mga talakayan at mga detalye tungkol sa actual na kita at mga outturn ng paggasta laban sa programa at sa pinansyal at pisikal na pagganap ng mga priority program. Next natin ay audit. So, pag-audit para mag-guarantee natin kung epektibong ginagamit ang pampublikong pondo at ayon sa batas. So, sinusuri ng COA ang mga account ng bawat ahensya upang kumpirmahin ang pagganap ng ahensya, pagtukoy sa antas ng pagbabudget ng mga ahensya at upang matugunan ang mga issue sa paggamit ng budget. So, ginagamit ng DBM ang mga ulat sa audit ng COA. So, the Department of Education's 2021 budget. Bagamat ito ay nakakabigla sa sistema ng departamento, ang mga pangyayaring naganap noong 2020 ay naghanda sa kagawaran para sa mga sumusunod o susunod na taon habang mabilis nitong sinusubaybayan ang modernisasyon ng departamento sa mga tuntunin na paghahatid ng pangunahing kalidad ng edukasyon. Hindi financially prepared ang DepEd para sa instant shift mula sa traditional face-to-face classes tungo sa distance learning. Gayunpaman, nakahanap pa rin ng paraan ang departamento para maisagawa ang mandato nito kahit na sa panahon ng hamon. Bilang tugon sa pagbabago sa Basic Education Learning Continuity Plan or BELCP, ang Departamento ng Edukasyon ay nagbigay ng espesyal na atensyon sa mga programang nauugnay sa distance learning gaya ng Flexible Learning Options, School MOOE, Government Assistance at Subsidies, at DepEd Computerization Program. So, ang Department of Education 2021 budget ay nagpapakita ng mga pagsisikap ng departamento na tiyakin ang patuloy na serbisyo sa ating mga stakeholders sa gitna at sa kabila ng mga natural na kalamidad at iba pang mga krisis. So, in support of Article 14, Section 1 of the 1987 Philippine Constitution, which states, "The state shall protect and promote the right of all citizens to quality education at all levels, and shall take appropriate steps to make such education accessible to all." Section 5 of the said article mandates that the state shall assign the highest budgeting priority to education. With this, the Department of Education covers the biggest portion of the General Appropriations Act or yung gaan natin. So for 2021, The Department of Education Office of the Secretary covers 13.18% of the national budget. Internally, the budget increased by 41.12 billion or 7.44% from the 2020 budget. So the DepEd is grateful for the continuous funding support from the government in spite of the economic and health challenges brought by pandemic. The Department of Education assures that it will utilize the given budget to its maximum capacity to implement its PAPs for fiscal year 2021 in this challenging period. So we have uh, 594.11 billion. That is our 2021 GAA or General Appropriations Act, Department of Education, Office of the Secretary. So as you can see, yung ating GAA here is 552.99 billion. Our proposal for the 2021 budget is 1,113.72 billion. Then yung NEP natin is 605.74 billion. Yung growth rate natin is 7.44%. So, tumaas siya. This is our GAA for the fiscal year 2021. So, the per expense class. Among the expense classes, personnel services receive the highest budget proportion for this year. It covers 80% of the Department of Education budget, which amounts to 475.45 billion pesos. This amount was appropriated to cover the payment of salaries and benefits of the department personnels. Meanwhile, to support the implementation of programs, activities, and projects, or PAPs, 99.18 billion pesos or 17% of the budget was appropriated to the school maintenance and other operating expenses or yung tinatawag natin na MOE. Then, yung remaining 3% natin is the budget amounting 19.48 billion pesos was appropriated for capital outlays or CO. So, ito yon PS, personnel services, which is 475.45 billion. MOE, 99.18. Then, capital outlay, 19.48 with a total of 594.11 billion. So, ito yung ating 594.11 billion 2021 budget, GAA. So, MOE, which ito yung personal services natin, nasa kulay purple, which is 475.45 billion. So, 80% siya. It covers 80%. Then, sumunod is yung MOE, 99.18 billion, 17%. Then, 3% for capital outlay, 19.48 billion. This illustration is a comparative data of 2020 GAA, 2021 proposal, then 2021 NIEP, and 2021 GAA. So, ito yung 2020 natin, GAA, 2021 proposal natin, 2021 NIEP, and then 2021 GAA. So, yung PS natin, personal services, 418.45 billion. So, yung 2021 proposal natin, 419.43 billion. 2021 NEP, 475.10 billion. Ito namin na-approve na. 2021 GAA natin, 475.45 billion. So, ito yung MOE natin nung nakaraang fiscal year, 94.96 billion. Yung proposed natin is 147.13. Yung NEP natin is 98.28. Then, yung GAA approved is 99.18. So, yung capital outlay, 39.58 billion. 2021 proposal, 547.16. And then, yung NEP natin is 32.36. Then, yung ating 2021 GAA, 19.48 billion. With a total of 552.99 billion. So, ito yung 2021 GAA natin. So, tingnan nyo naman yung kanyang GAA for the fiscal year 2021. Tumaas siya, 594.11 billion. So, mas mataas yung ating general appropriations. Okay, so yung GAA natin. This illustration is a historical database on the budget proposal from 2018 to 2021. So, ito yung 2018 natin, 2019 proposal, 2020 proposal, 2021 proposal. So, ito yung ating personal services, MOE, capital outlay. So, as you can see, yung proposal natin noong 2018 ay 378.62 billion. Then 2019 naging 431.08 billion. Then 2020 naging 420.05 billion. Then 2021 419.43 billion. So yung MOE natin 110.62 billion, 124.33 billion for 2029 proposal. For 2020 proposal, naging 135.09 billion. Then, 2021 proposal natin, 147.13 billion. Then, capital outlay natin for the school year, over the fiscal year 2018, 290.90 billion. 2019, 176.87 billion. 2020, 247.99 billion. Then, 2021 proposal natin is 547.16 billion. So, mas tumaas siya. Then, with a total of 2018, that is 780.14 billion. Then 2019 proposal, 732.28 billion. 2020, 803.13 billion. Then sa 2021, 1,113.72 billion. So mas mataas siya for the rest of the school year, to the fiscal year. So, upang matugunan ang mataas na bilang ng mga mag-aaral at tumaas na pangangailangan para sa mga guro, para sa Region 4A, tatanggap ito ng pinakamahalagang alokasyon na kumakatawan sa 9.88 ng budget. 9.88% ng budget. So, habang ang Cordillera Administrative Region or CAR ay tatanggap lamang ng 1.96% ng budget dahil sila ang may pinakamababang demand para sa mga guro at pinakamaliit na bilang ng mga mag-aaral sa bansa. So, upang matukoy ang paglalaan ng budget sa rehiyon, ang mga ahensya ay kumonsulta sa mga Regional Development Council or RDC na tinitiyak na ang kanilang mga panukala sa budget ay naayon sa kanilang pangangailangan at prioridad sa pagpapaunlad ng mga rehiyon. So, ito yung Region 1, 30.20 billion. Region 2, 21.65 billion. Ito yung atin sa Region 4A, 58.69 billion. So, pinakamataas sa iba't ibang rehiyon. So, mas mataas yung Region 4A allocation ng budget. So, K to 12, Republic Act number 10533, the Enhanced Basic Education Act of 2013, commonly known as the K to 12, is the boldest move by the government to promote educational quality. In support of this reform and to stay true to its battle cry, Sulong Edukalidad, DepEd continuously provide resources to support the K to 12 program. So, ito yung mga sets of school furnitures natin. So, yung DepEd ay nag-provide nito ng 378,975 sets ng school furnitures. Then, we have sets of science and math equipments. Meron tayong 7,730,038 sets of science and math equipments. Then, 5,077 information and computerization technology packages, which cost 5.66 billion budget. And yung pieces of TVL equipment, 215,490 pieces, which cost of the budget under MOE and capital outlay, 594.89 million. Then, yung mga textbooks natin and other instructional materials, meron tayong 4,279,000 units. Yung budget natin dyan ay 963.26 million. Then, yung classrooms to be constructed, meron tayong allotted na 5,174 classrooms. Ang budget din ay 2.92 billion. Then, yung newly created items for teaching personnel. So, meron tayong 10,000 positions. So, ang allotted budget dyan ay 1.82 billion. Learners to benefit from SBFP. Ito yung sa feeding program natin, which yung learners natin na mabibigyan yan is 3,159,118 learners. And yung budget dyan ay 6.04 billion. So, government assistance and subsidies, or yung tinatawag nating GAS. The program is DepEd's instrument for collaborating with private schools in delivering quality, accessible, and relevant education to junior and senior high school grantees through vouchers. So, ito yung mga grantee na after ng elementary, which is yung junior high school, 1,149,975. So, yung budget allocated ay 11.24 billion. It is under Education Servicing Contracting, or yung tinatawag natin na ESC. Then, dito tayo sa Senior High School Voucher Program. We have 1,366,197 learners na grantees. Then, yung budget niya ay 13.69 billion. So, dito naman tayo yung voucher program for senior high schools in SUCs and LUCs, which meron tayong learners na 51,416. Yung budget nila ay 742.45 million. Then, dito naman tayo sa Joint Delivery Voucher Program for Technical Vocational Livelihood, or TVL, Senior High School Track. Yung learners niya ay 89,300. Yung budget ay 1.16 billion. additional compensation and professional development for our personnel. So ating mga kaguruan, to acknowledge the efforts of all teaching and non-teaching personnel, give the department to serve and deliver quality education to our Filipino learners. DepEd has allocated budget for additional compensation and professional development of the said positions. So yung budget allocated ay 2,152 million para sa ating provision for special hardship allowance. Then yung budget for the Magna Carta for Public Health Workers, 583 million. Then dito naman tayo sa provision of retirement and terminal leave benefits and of mandatory retirees. So we have budget 1,682 million. Yung salaries of substitute teachers and other non-permanent positions, budget niyan ay 4,289. Sa honoraria for teaching overload, 433 million. Then, human resource development for personnel in school and learning centers, yung LCs natin. Ang budget niyan ay 1,853 million. Then, organization and professional development for non-schools, LCs personnel, 221 million. Let me end this presentation with this quote. According to E. Faber, finance without strategy is just numbers, and strategy without finance is just dreaming. So, maganda talaga na kailangan pag tayo ay nagbabudget, kailangan nagkakaroon din tayo ng mga suggestions, strategies, and tactics kung paano mas mapapaganda at mapapaunlad yung isang ahensya or isang pagbabudget. So, sabi nga dito, kapag di tayo nagkaroon ng strategy, magiging isang numbers lang to. Then, kapag ito naman ay walang strategy without finance, merely this is just dreaming. So, kailangan pinagpaplanuhan natin anuman yung ating pagbabudget sa araw-araw or kung sa ahensya na ating pinagpapasukan, kailangan maayos at meron tayong transparency seal na tinatawag or kailangan honest ang ating ginagawa sa ating kagawaran. Yun lang po. Thank you so much.